What is going on, guys? Seed here with the first of many installments of Spooky Season Specials on Wednesday, August 7th, 2024. Guys, this is going to be the first installment for the year, and we are jumping right back into Castlevania. I said I was going to do that, guys. We've got the Anniversary Collection, right? Came out in 2019 via Konami Digital Entertainment. It's version 1.1. Guys, you can download this on the PlayStation Network as I did, and it features pretty much every freaking Castlevania game there is, right? Almost every single one of them. So guys, I started with Bloodlines. Everyone knows that I started with Bloodlines. If you are new to the channel, guys, that's what's going on. I started with Bloodlines. I was a little child, and I was like traumatized by how hard the game was. I think even as an adult now, I still have not beaten Castlevania Bloodlines, right? It's just a lot of memorization, a lot of knockbacks, and a lot of, you know, like, it's the toughest of the toughest. But guys, we are jumping into the 1987 Nintendo Entertainment System and NES version of Castlevania, and guys, yeah, it's the original, right? So Dracula's here to plunge the world into darkness, and yeah, we've got the infamous Belmont clan that's trying to be the effective counterbalance to Dracula's plans, guys. So Christopher Belmont vanquished Dracula, right? And as we are reading on the screen, but every so often he comes back, right? He comes back from the grave, and the successor to the Belmont family, we were reading right off of this, was a man named Simon. I believe that's the Netflix special, right? Simon's in the Netflix special. So guys, he's venturing into Dracula's castle to face the Count alone. Guys, I know Bloodlines is the hardest one out of all of them, but this one is definitely up there in terms of difficulty, right? I think all of them give you a run for the money, right? Run for, you know, the title of the hardest Castlevania game that there is. But guys, this is the one that started it all, right? And I think this is probably like my 15th take this week, right, in making this video, right, just to get a decent enough run to bring to you guys. I said, right, we were going to take a little break from the Tekken, and I've been jumping in there with the Tekken, getting some matches in, not faring too well, right, already showing rust, right. If you're not staying acclimated at that level in the Tekken 8 community, it's gonna disappear quite fast, right, because those guys are still playing at an absolutely high level. But guys, we are segueing into, yeah, the first of many Spooky Season Specials episodes for this season, right? We're probably gonna feature maybe one or two Castlevania games, one or two Castlevania episodes, right? I don't know if it's going to be across different Castlevania games, but I've got some ideas. Maybe we're gonna jump into Resident Evil this year, give that a try, right? I've got those games, they've been on the back burner for so long. I actually saw House of the Dead, like a re-release, right? And I didn't know that they came out with a re-release. And House of the Dead, I absolutely loved on my Xbox, right? I believe it was on my Xbox. It was on one of those consoles, right? And I had the guns, right? And it was the closest I could have gotten to the arcade experience. The arcade experience when you're playing House of the Dead is, you know, one of the best experiences you can have at the cinema, right? And since COVID, I haven't really gone to the cinema, right? I haven't gone to a movie theater in quite some time, but yeah, it's conjuring up a lot of memories, right? Life kind of like changed drastically, right? But one of the prevailing memories, right, in terms of like for Halloween, for spooky vibes, for, you know, those little horror vibes, right? Definitely House of the Dead is up there in terms of experiences, right? And when you're playing that, you know, like in an arcade setting, right, it's pretty top tier, right? Those guns, right, and all of the zombies, right, and, you know, it's one of those arcade games that, you know, like, it stands the test of time. So right now, what I'm actually doing as we are playing Castlevania, right before we were jumping into this episode, what I was doing is I was looking at the guns available, right, the PlayStation 5 guns, if there are any PlayStation 5 guns available, so that when I do download House of the Dead, right, in a couple months, right, to give it a try, right, the re-release, the remake, right? The update, hopefully it's upgraded, like not just like upscaled and emulated perfectly. Maybe the graphics have improved. I don't know, but yeah, we may give that a go on this channel, right? So do look out for that. And if you guys haven't heard about that, right, it's there, right? It just totally, I totally did not get the memo when they did a re-release for that, and I absolutely love that game, right? Absolutely golden memories there, right? Some absolute good times. But guys, this is probably the cleanest run so far in Castlevania, right? For up to stage 3, right? Because I've pretty much annihilated I pretty much went through stage 3. I pretty much went through stage 3 probably, yeah, probably 20 plus times before making this video, right? So all up from stages 1 to 3, right? Yeah. And the reason for that, guys, gals, all human beings, every beautiful human, the reason for me not being able to post a video of Castlevania sooner, right, sooner than expected, is because the knockbacks, right? Everyone that has ever played a Castlevania game knows about the knockbacks. If anything looks easy in Castlevania, if anything ever looks easy in Castlevania, I want you guys, and you've never played a Castlevania game, I want you guys to at least give it a go. On the old console, the emulated version, it doesn't matter, right? Or ask a friend, right? I would say ask a friend. If anything looks easy, if anything looks like super easy, guys, it's not even a joke, right? Castlevania is one of those games that requires your attention, right? 100% of the time. You cannot monologue, right? None of the monologuing that you're hearing right now, none of that flies in a Castlevania game. There's just reasons for that. And guys, right here, those Medusa heads that were floating, right? That's literally as far as I was getting for quite some time, right? It was ruining my perfect runs, right? Up to stage 5, right? So by stage 5, right, I was just getting credited with every loss known to man, right? Simply because of those Medusa heads throwing me off the cliff, right? So it's just not cool, right? The knockbacks are just one of those things in a Castlevania game that you've come to expect, and it's one of those things that can drive you up the wall if you're not crazy. But guys, these the watch here, right? The pocket watch, right, is probably the most sought after item for probably the first 2 stages, right? Not stages. The first 2 levels, right? That's pretty much, can't really say stage. How do I put this, right? The first 2 countrysides, right? That you play in the Castlevania game, right? You can't really say stages, right? Because all the stages are broken up, right? So stages 1 to 3, and then 4, 6, I think 7, right? You get the point. You get what I'm saying. But yeah, it's extremely difficult. Yeah, I know. 4 to 6. It should be 4 to 6, right? But yeah, the Medusa heads are absolutely wicked in this game. One little mistime, and you know, it just throws off your whole game, right? And I don't like getting hit in a Castlevania game, right? Because once you get hit once, it really does mess with your composure, like right off the bat. Like if you guys have not, and right here, this feels like Jason's head, right? Everything from the Jason's mom's head, right? That's what it's giving me vibes of, right? This boss at stage 6, right? And untouched, right? So the stopwatch is pretty much what you want. Not the stopwatch, the pocket watch is pretty much what you want for the first up to stage 6, right? If you get the axe at one point or another in terms of like your special item, that's good, right? For the first boss that you face, right? But ideally you want that watch, right? But now at stage 7, that's not the most sought after item to hold, right? For the majority of the gameplay, you're gonna want to, right? That little gremlin, ugh. You're gonna wanna have the pocket watch or this potion, the holy water, right? I think it's a potion or holy water, whatever it is, right? But yeah, those random turkeys, right? We haven't even touched on them as of yet in this video. But yeah, They're straight out of the 80s and the 90s gaming, right? The turkey in the brick, right? That's one of the go-tos in video games, right? Just a big old hunk of meat, right? To revitalize you, right? And what are the hearts for, right? Certainly not giving you back your life, right? So in any case, it's just the weirdest setup, right? In terms of item descriptions. But yeah, this little stupid frog right here really did catch me off guard and just absolutely annihilated my health. I think it's like a good luck sign to get your health annihilated every once in a while in a Castlevania game, right? It keeps you on your toes, right? Only to keep you on your toes. And these stupid little crows right here, right? And did get an extra money bag from this, right? But it was good. It was absolutely epic to play up to stage 7, right? This at one point was like during the week was the furthest I was getting, right? Up to stage, and there goes the ads, right? But ideally you don't want the holy water here, right? Up to this part, you still actually want the pocket watch, right? To stop time, right? Because here's the Medusa heads again. But it's not the Medusa heads that's going to give you a problem as much as the barrage of enemies that you will end up facing, right? So it's the skeleton plus the Medusa heads, right? And right here, there goes my health, right? And it was a stupid way to die, right? But it's probably like a good luck sign, right? And that whip increases, right? So the whip increases a couple times, right? And the hit markers on the enemies and the whip, right? The connection between the enemies and the whip does annoy the hell out of me from time to time. But what can you do, right? It's an old 1987 game, right? And there's parts of this game that kind of reminds me, like, especially the stairs with the stairs. There's parts of this game that remind me of the gameplay in the first Mission Impossible for the NES, right? And there's parts that remind me of Jason. So there's a lot of borrowing, right? In terms of like ideas, right? There's only a limited amount of ways to, you know, like produce the same concept on the screen. But there's a lot of like gameplay borrowing that you can see, right? If you look closely and you look between games, right? If you did grow up with the NES and you have a chance to like look back at things, right? You can see where some borrowing took place, right? Even if it's not the same developer, you can kind of sense, right, that they went about it in the same way, right? To some extent, right? But there's only so many ways to like picture stairs and picture, you know, like heads in this game, right? During the NES time, right? So everything is vintage, right? It's just upscaled emulation, right? And right here, these two little heads, right? They're featured in Bloodlines, right? A scarier version of them, right? But they're here, and they are terrifying, right? So right there, I just kept mistiming my jumps, right? I don't know, something about me today. Like I took my coffee, like I had my coffee break, like early in this, I took my, I actually coffee break. I had coffee for breakfast is what I mean to say, right? And these mummies right here were absolutely just giving me the time, right? Just giving me the hardest time today, right? But I got up today with the intention of clearing stage 9, right? And clearing the mummies, right? Not with the item that you want to see on the screen. So what I was doing was just ducking when I could and just spamming those hits, right? With the whip. Right, and once I got the first one, right, I'm down to 1, and bam. But right there, what you really want is the holy water, right? So guys, we got up to stage 9 in Castlevania for the first time ever we cleared stage 9, right? And that's good enough for me. Guys, if you've ever played a Castlevania game, you guys are gonna know how hard this game is. Give it a go for yourself, right? If you guys want to feel some pain, right, guys? Peace, love, all the blessings to you and yours. Sid out. Until next video.